right, it's still new on OGTV, and it's the main interview segment. And what are we going to be looking at this morning? We are going to be looking at, the performances of the Super Eagles of Nigeria at the ongoing AFCON. For me, they've been very super because they played 5 matches, and of course they won all, and they've been able to score 14 goals, only conceded 4, and they're on the verge of setting a new tournament record. So when you look at all that, in all of those 5 matches that they played, the first 3 matches they conceded, and at that point Nigerians were worried. There's this song that they sing when they are going to the dressing room, that why are you worried that they will not let us down? And indeed, they didn't let us down. After 3 games, they've been able to keep a clean sheet in 2 consecutive matches, particularly when it mattered most, talking about the knockout stages. And that is why we will be focusing on that particular tournament, and of course the biggest football showpiece on the continent, and one of the biggest in the world of football, the Africa Cup of Nations. And this morning, my colleague today with me, my name is Sanusi Latif, and I have she's in green. Maybe she just decided not to put the white socks, talking about Kenya.
You have balance there. I can see your color is balancing the green, white, green.
Okay, I have a touch of white.
Okay, yes. Good morning, and it's nice to be here to talk sports this morning. And joining us to do justice to this topic is no other person than the Director General of the National Sports Commission, Mr. Bukola Olopade. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, Honorable Bukola Olopade.
Honorable.
Good morning, viewers.
Yeah.
Good morning, friends.
He's also a chief, actually.
Yeah, of course, he's a chief.
It's okay. It can be Mr.
Yeah, when you talk about
it can be Mr. It's okay.
All right. So maybe we should start. You are very happy this morning, and of course you've been happy with the Super Eagles, based on their performance at this particular, competition. And we just want you to tell us, as we begin the conversation, what you feel is really happening to the Super Eagles at this moment, and whether this is an expectation from you and of course your team as well.
Well, before the tournament started, I did appear on a few TV stations, and I did a few interviews where I clearly stated that we hired a coach who needed time to build a system that works for the crop of quality players that we have in the Super Eagles. And what we are seeing right now is a team that is well gelled together. I said to a few people while we were watching the match against Mozambique that if we continue to play with the discipline with which we have approached most of these matches, that we will get the results that are necessary. So yes, here we are, looking good. I'm ever more convinced that we're winning the trophy this year.
Okay, let me do a follow-up on that. Let me do a follow-up on that, talking about the coach Eric Chell. You've spoken about the fact that when you said it when the tournament was about to start, that Chell is a coach that actually needs a little time to give us a formidable team, and he has not disappointed you so far. But my question is that when you look at Coach Eric Chell, he's halfway into his contract. On the 7th of January 2025 was when he signed with Nigeria. So meaning that 7th of this year actually made it exactly a year that he's been with us. So halfway through his contract, the question I want to ask you is that I believe as the Director General of the National Sports Commission, you are part of the process of his appointment, because you'll be briefed about the coach that they are bringing in. So what actually gave you that confidence a little bit about a year ago that this coach can actually get the job done?
We are going through the full list of coaches that the NFF have presented. I'm established the fact that we have a solid collaborative working relationship with all the federations under the NSC and the NFF is not excluded from that collaborative approach. And this is simply because Malatio and I, we understand sports. We've been in this family for 30 years each, and literally we knew what was needed for us to be able to take the right decisions and do the right things. And we looked at the resume of all the coaches present, and together all four of us, Ibrahim Buzo, Shanusi, Shewudi, and myself, all agreed that we had to go for Chile. We got a lot of backlash. I remember coming on OGTV and Arise TV, and one of that TVC, I think it was TVC, to expectation, how confident we were about Chile. People were very skeptical. On OGTV, I was asked about his nationality. I didn't say to you guys then that we live in a global village. Anybody can come from anywhere to work anywhere and work successfully. Tuchel is the coach of England. The English people are very arrogant people, but yet they brought in a German coach to coach their national team. To answer your question, we were sure Chile was prepared for the right role, and to God be the glory, has proven us right. His contract, you asked to get us in the semi-finals of the AFCON. He has done that. He deserves a discussion on a renewed, improved contract. I'm sure he will get that as soon as he comes back from the Nations Cup with the trophy, inshallah.
Okay, now you've actually answered maybe our next question.
Okay.
I guess that's what Simi actually wanted to talk about.
Yes, I was almost trying to talk about the renewal of his contract because of his performance at this particular time. So beyond the coach and of course the players themselves, they look so put together. And people said they look so disciplined on the field, and of course we know that what the coach is also doing is what actually led to their performance on the field. So let's talk critically about how you've been able to drive the team from different locations, drive them down, and of course portray Nigeria, they display this level of professionalism, which of course they've always been doing. What exactly is it that you're doing is it the motivation coming from individuals, promises, that they are going to get this or that, or is just that this team are really ready to put Nigeria on the map once again when it comes to AFCON?
Always understand, as Nigerians, we are very proud, hard-working people across board, irrespective of the industry that we operate in or we operate from. The Super Eagles is the biggest brand we as a country, the biggest brand, and it is incumbent upon us to continue to protect it because it is the positive vibes that it gives to the world that we need as a nation to continue to thrive as stronger as we can, The boys are Nigerians. The discipline you see is synonymous with us. The way we are playing is synonymous with us as Nigerians. We've always qualified for semi-finals. We were at the finals last year, missed out narrowly. And this is why I've always said that when people criticize the NFF, they tend to forget that the NFF qualified this team to the final and the last AFCON, won the last AFCON, qualified for literally every competition in the women's cadre and on the men's cadre. This is simply because people are working there in the same, people are industrious, people are determined to live of our corporate entity called Nigeria. And so I'm not surprised that they've worked so hard. For the record, the Super Eagles under Eric Play have played 16 matches. But for the penalty kicks against Congo, which ended a draw anyway, people lost a single match. At this tournament, has become the highest scoring team. This is exactly what we try to do with all the sports on the NSC. But credit must be given to the Nigerian Football Federation that has one of ours, Abeokuta, as a member. Good job that they are doing.
Okay, let me ask this question. That's highest number of goals that they scored. I still have a question about that, so I'm still going to ask that. But let's talk about what we've seen so far in terms of their performances. You are closer to the team than us. You see them often than we do, and definitely some things that we don't know. So my question to you is that what do you think has actually, beyond the fact that you said Nigerians we are hardworking, what do you think that actually spurred the boys on to have this kind of performances that they've had? Is it because they missed out of the World Cup? Is it because at the last AFCON we are more defensive, now we are playing a free-flowing football than what we had under Pesero? Is it because that they were so close last time to lifting the trophy? I've mentioned about 3 ingredients that will have spurred these boys on to give us this kind of performances that they've given us. So you being closer to the team, what exactly do you think has actually spurred them on? To have that kind of record that I mentioned at the beginning of the program, it's not easy at a tournament.
It is a combination of everything you mentioned. It is the fact that look, let me take it this way. Eric Chile came to see me in the office traveling to meet the team in Egypt. And in his way, he said, "Boss, I am going to drill this thing, chisel this thing, and make them very fine for the tournament. Boss, I'm here to win the tournament, not just semi-final you've given to me." So, obviously, spending quality time together has also assisted them in journeying and forming a very solid attacking system that is difficult to break. Don't also forget that Eric Chile, as coach of Mali, scored a lot of goals. So it is in the ability of the coaching crew under Eric to be able to do that. But I think the boys also were motivated by the fact that not qualifying for the World Cup left that taste in the past from Nigeria, and they wanted to make a feel-good Nations Cup and create happiness in our living rooms, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. And because of that, they became selfless and tried to work hard. I also spoke to them yesterday and the first day last Morocco for flying back out to Abuja last night, that they must understand that it is not possible under Malanchodi or myself as the Chief Accounting Officer and the DG of the National Sports Commission, that any money that belongs to them, and this goes for every sport, that money will be paid and will be paid in record time. They should forget about thinking about money, concentrate on doing their job and winning the trophy. Money will get to their accounts as early as possible. There's a new system, there's a new vibe, there's a new way. And people must learn how to trust the administrators running sports. Things are not done the way it used to be done. When we started paying Olympic training grants to athletes for the 2028 Olympics. Since last year, we are going to pay more again this week. When we make promises, myself and Madam Shodi and our colleagues at the NSC will make promises. Those promises are kept. For those who know me, when I was commissioner in Ogun State, they'll tell you I tried on integrity and I tried on athlete welfare. Athlete welfare has to be number one before people can get the positive results. And I think that also has really helped the Super Eagles to do the job they're doing for us.
Okay, it's interesting you talked about the welfare of athletes and of course the Super Eagles now. We know the work and effort you're putting into getting the team, put all the teams, Nigerian teams, when it comes to sport, on a very good stage. And of course, it was actually sad to see Nigerians also get to hear about the issue of bonuses. They saying they won't get to Algeria, they won't prepare, they won't train because they were still being owed allowances. I don't know what your administration is doing differently to ensure that
they didn't say that. The journalist who reported that was, with all due respect, Faboose in his reportage. What they said was that they were waiting for alerts. They are not seeing alerts, and because of that, they wanted assurances. In 1 hour, 2 hours after the journalist posted that, and the whole world captured it, they went to training.
Okay.
And 2 days later, they flew to Marrakech and got to Marrakech and got the job done. Listen, I want us to dwell on that. It is gone. We have a new chapter. We need to recalibrate and focus on the job at hand. The job at hand is to win the semi-finals against a very determined Moroccan nation. But like I said to a few of them who are my friends yesterday and today, they are going to be beaten. We'll go on to win the cup, inshallah.
Okay. Inshallah, maybe I should follow up with this particular. Nigerians are also optimistic. They want to see the president. Is there any assurance you can give us whether the president, if we, move on to, winning or getting to final, is there any assurance that Mr. President is going to attend that particular, match? If we eventually get to final, Nigerians are also asking that question.
Mr. President is a very busy man.
Okay.
But I'm sure a very high-powered government, possibly Mr. President, I don't know yet, but a very high-powered government team will come to support the boys to winning the trophy. Just this morning, I spoke to my team in Casablanca. So I want to discourage people going up, planning to fly out for the semi-finals, please, because of the fact that the Moroccans have bought up every ticket many weeks ago, knowing that they will be playing all their matches in Rabat. We are struggling to get tickets. Maybe this is not the time to fly out. Maybe you should wait for us to get to the finals, where the stadium will be free for us, and either Nigeria or Egypt, and more Nigerians can fly in to Morocco and support the boys' victory. We are winning the cup, inshallah.
Inshallah. Amen.
Before my colleague before me ask that question about whether Mr. President may be available for the final, I actually wanted to talk about, I had a question that I actually want to ask you as regards your response to the bonus round. Because the question I want to ask is that you've explained what happened, you've explained over and over again, and you've spoken about how well and how hard you are working to ensure that all our athletes, not only footballers, are well taken care of. But talking about the bonus round, this is my own question, which has been a challenge for me as far as I'm concerned. Before Wilfred Ndidi was born, we've had cases of bonus round with the Super Eagles. Before Osimhen was born, now it was a little delay based on the explanation that you gave, and you said you are recalibrating to ensure that things are done the way it ought to be done. So what are those recalibrations that you are doing, and the steps that you're taking, that even if it is just 2 hours delay that will cause the kind of agitation among the players, we are not going to have it in the nearest future?
Well, I don't know what you're determined to speak to negativity. I told you there were no accusations. It was a report, a generalization of a discussion. I've told you all their monies have been paid. They've tweeted that they received all their monies. I've told you we are recalibrating. There are no issues. The Minister of Finance for States even released a press statement that I'm sure you have seen, saying there was never a time the money was not going to be paid. I don't want to dwell on that. This interview must move on, and we've got beyond that. we're in the semi-finals. The boys are not complaining about money. We are all focused. OGTV should focus with us and move on.
Okay, all right. Moving on. Part of what I mentioned is the number of goals that the Eagles have scored. They've scored 14. Highest so far in the record of.
I've been told that even Gateway, I've been told that even Gateway has not accessed money, but the players are not protesting. Leave all of this matter alone. The boys have moved on. People owe money everywhere. We did not owe. It was a matter of money not getting to them on time, and we have passed that. Let's move on.
Okay, moving on. I just said it that moving on from the issue of the bonus. I was talking about the number of goals that the Eagles have scored so far, and they are about to equal the record of Ivory Coast with the highest number of goals in a single AFCON that was set in 2008 with 16 goals. And of course, following Ivory Coast, we have Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Egypt with 15. Now Nigeria is on 14 with the likes of Cameroon, and of course with the likes of Morocco. So now, looking at this milestone, is there any conversation by the boys that, okay, we are about to set a new record of the highest number of goals scored at a single AFCON, and how well should we look forward to this new record being set by the Super Eagles?
I don't think the boys are bothered about records. If you heard of Ime talking about Rafiki Yaki's Ayako score record, they are not concerned about that. The boys would have to score anyway to get the trophy. So the expectant that record will go, whether we like it or not, because we have to beat Morocco and we have to score in the final to win the trophy. Even if it's 1-0 each, that record is on the way out. But this is a very high-scoring team with a mentality just to put the ball behind the net. Against Australia, if you watch very closely, we could have beaten Australia up to 6 goals. Balls hitting the uprights, near misses, across balls. Australia had only 1 shot at goal. Only 1. And we missed more than 6 goals. And we scored 2. So there's a team that's very chiseled. And luckily for us, multiple players can score. Even from the midfield. Even defenders, Semi Ajayi has scored. We have a team that has goal scorers and that has boys with their eyes glued to the goalpost. So that record, I believe, is about to be destroyed because we have to score against Morocco and we have to score multiple times and we have to score to win the trophy. So the record is gone, as I'm concerned.
All right. Since you and Malam Shehu Diko, came into office, Nigeria hosted some international competitions. Of course, Ogun State also, the MK Abiola Sports Arena has been, one of the major venues to these competitions. And looking at how big the AFCON is right now, especially with the last edition in Côte d'Ivoire and this one in Morocco, is hosting the tournament, something you're looking at, your administration is looking at in Nigeria anytime soon?
Well, we have bidded for the Commonwealth Games, we didn't get it. We have bidded for the All-African Games 2031. We're planning to bid for the AFCON 2029. If they've not changed it to the 4 years, if they have, then maybe AFCON 2030 something. But let me tell you something. Your question is a strategic question because I know your next question would be, what are we doing about infrastructure? If there's one area that we can be criticized for, is the fact that we've not aggressively addressed the issue of infrastructure, but we are quietly working very hard to ensure that our infrastructures are brought to the top level, starting with the Abeokuta International Stadium. Work will soon start. The paperwork are being done, the finance, with budgets, and everybody. And once that is sorted, the contractors on the beach, on the aesthetics, are planning to crowd it. We've just thrown out a campaign for corporates to come and pay for the arena and name it the arena after them. Not the Abeokuta International Stadium, the arena. For example, if OGTV bidded and got it, it will be called OGTV Sports Arena, Abeokuta International Stadium. That's another way of creating funding, independent funding from government, and bring the NSC for us to do a lot of our programs. And that is looking very good, because more than 4 banks are already competing for it. Very soon we'll be announcing who are going dead way. But you're right. For us to compete with the world, we have to put in the best infrastructures in place, and that is our next step. Since we have started doing the right things with regard to elections of federations, with regards to sending our national teams, with regards to hosting international competitions and getting laurels. Last year, we sent out 54 national teams. 51 came out with laurels. We won African tournaments in more than 13 different competitions. We are the world champions in Scrabble, with Togo State playing a key role there, and we keep winning everywhere. There is a new horizon in sports, and we continue to thank the public, but more importantly, thank Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the huge support that sport is getting. Never have we ever gotten this kind of support as a community from any president. It is novel and it is solid, and we thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for this.
Okay, going back to AFCON tournament itself and going back to the camp of Nigeria, for every AFCON, there are new stars that have been born. The one that can come to my memory is Burkina Faso 98, where the world got to know a certain Benny McCarthy that had gone on to win a number of laurels and became a global star. Talking about this AFCON, we've seen some new stars in the colors of Nigeria. You talked about the likes of Aquadams of this world. You talked about Bruno Yemechi. You talked about Rafael Onyedika. So now I want you to share your thoughts with us as the DG of NSC on some of the new stars that we've seen that this AFCON have won for us as a country. Aquadams now has 4 goals and 9 matches for Nigeria.
Well, you can call them new. I'm reluctant to call them new, because even if they're angry that they are called new, they all played the World Cup qualifier. Unfortunately, we didn't get. But yet, this AFCON has announced them more to global viewership. But don't forget, Aquadams is one of the highest scorers in the Spanish league. He plays for Sevilla. He's an established superstar. Don't also forget that Bruno plays for Boavista in Portugal. He's an established star, although he also has his roots from Ogun State, Remo Stars. Onyedika and Onyedika cut their team in Ogun State with a BAA. Sorry, I'm keep adding Ogun State because I'm an Ogun State indigenous fan. And with pride, these are players who played in Ogun State before they became superstars. But I agree with you. This Nations Cup has showcased them to a larger audience. So that yes, you are in the right place to call them new superstars discovered from the tournament. But I am careful not to call them new before they
let me cut in.
Watch your program. They call us new.
DG, let me cut in and put it in proper perspective. I know you understand sports very well. That's why they've never been to AFCON. And when you check the market valuation of Aquadams now, it has risen to about 5 million euros, all because of AFCON. So that is the perspective I'm talking about.
No, you are right. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying you were correct. Okay. But I have to be careful. I see these boys on the regular. If I go to the dressing room after the semi-final and they say, "Oh God, we won." We have to social cap. We have social cap. I know the way these boys play it. I want us to play not to touch them in the wrong way. But you are absolutely correct. It has increased their valuation. It has shown that to a larger audience. And again, it goes to you putting the hard work and letting the world recognize you for your hard work. I'm very proud of them.
All right.
Okay.
I understand. On the lighter note,
without your point. Don't forget that we have 4 great or new talents who are on the bench who have not played at all. I hope that we see them sometime between the next two matches. That will be a totally new exposure. It will be their first caps playing for the Super Eagles. For that, they've always been on the bench. One of them is the top star from Nemo, beyond limits, that plays for Inter, that has been invited.
Yes. Let me quickly crack this joke, DG. When we played, I think about 2 or 3 games, there was a tweet that somebody said Akwa Adams needs to be playing for a big team, and I remember Sevilla actually responded on Twitter that he's already doing so. So that's actually what you're talking about.
All right, the DG, you've been at the forefront of getting the local guys that's in the local leagues now, ensuring that we have, our people captured at the grassroots level so that they would have replacement. And of course, as our stars begin to go abroad, we also have people that can play within the country, and of course graduate to that. That's the recruitment process in sport. What exactly are you doing differently to ensure that all the 774 local government is captured in terms of getting stars at the grassroots?
Well, that's a good question. We keep working to ensure that we create a pool, and right, we've done a lot so that the introduction of invited junior athletes, IJA, that peppered at the Gateway game in Abeokuta, has become a huge success. Today, we have streamers like Eddie, we have Miracle, we have Rosemary Chukuma, top athletes who are still their junior cadre but are prepared to represent the country at the senior level now. But 2 days ago, I announced to the world the appointment of Tuesday Abeokuta as the chairman of the Diaspora Talent Committee. What we want to do with this is to bring over 1,000 young Nigerians across the world who have significant intention to represent Nigerians. Like my children, if they are playing sport, do we say because they live in England, they cannot play for Nigeria? So we have created a talent hunt committee led by an athlete scout, the same man who scouted the Wadi, who scouted AFCON, and most of the top players playing for us today is the man who's given the job to ensure that we grab more talent beyond the grassroots here that can join their colleagues and their brothers and sisters in Abeokuta, in Ogbomoso, in Kafansan, in Umaya, in Okigwe, in Warri, so that this country is richer for it, and in every given sporting competition we try, and thriving is what we are going to be doing going forward. I feel.
Okay, so very quickly we talk about politics in Nigeria, and of course they talk about how every sector is affected. So how insulated is the National Sports Commission from political interference that often disrupts long-term sports planning?
I don't know, that's a confusing question. Where is the political interference? We are working under the politically elected president. I'm a politician, as you know. Apart from that, it's been a professional, independent NSC, obviously under the president. Okay. The NSC locally for us is directly under the president. But even the president relies on the expertise that myself and Shodiko brings to the table. And he works with us, he approves for us, supports us. And that's why you see the vibe is changing. Whether you hate it or like me, you must admit something new is happening. And there's a wave sweeping around Nigerian sports that is positive. You must have read about what we are doing with basketball that has always been toxic. And how masterfully we are putting together a peaceful strategy to resolve the basketball issues. You must have heard about the elections into office of more than 8 presidents for the first time, devoid of any palaver, for the first time in the history of Nigeria. More importantly, you must have heard about the strategy to ensure that only the best represent Nigeria. Nobody interfered in the selection. We allow the technical committees of each sport to do their job. They bring them to us. we do our job. We must think about our fight to stop age cheating and our resolve on solving anti-doping problems. So much that the World Anti-Doping Body has used as one of the most improved countries in terms of keeping an eye on anti-doping. So much is going on without interference, and the results are there for you to see.
All right,
okay.
I think I like that because, of course, he actually got the question really well because you understand where I was coming from with that question. It's just a practical thing in Nigeria for you to say, okay, this person, you talk about quota system. He has mentioned it that the best is actually, they are the ones representing Nigeria at all levels, not really about whether somebody is from a particular place or not. Maybe that can...
He came out to say it, for Honorable Nokwade Senator, from Commissioner, having doing his own thing, and now the Business National Sports Commission. Anyway, back to AFCON, I want to ask you this question. For the very first time in the history of AFCON, the first semi-finalists, talking about the countries, have African coaches. Morocco has Walid, who is an African. For Egypt, one of my favorite players of all time, Osam Hassan, is their head coach. And of course, you talk about Senegal with Pape Thiaw. And of course, you have Eric Chell of Nigeria, having taken their team for the very first time in the history of AFCON to the semi-final stage. So the question I want to ask you is that, do you think it's high time we start pushing the narrative of African coaches for African countries?
Well, listen, I'm a global citizen. I'm a very liberal-minded person when it comes to citizenship, tribes, and things like that. Listen, I was once married to an Igbo. My children are mixed race, so who am I to complain about those things? I believe the best, irrespective of where they are coming from, should do the job for us. In the final analysis, I'm a businessman, and in business, you go where the money is, irrespective of who is going to get you that money, as long as it's legitimate. For us, at the NSC, we have Bulgarian coaches that we're going to bring in for wrestling. We are sending out 2 judo cats from Ogun State. They are Remu brothers who have tried in Ogun State. We are about to send them to Japan to get them ready for the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics in judo. We are planning to give them a Japanese coach. We are planning to bring in a coach from I think, Czech Republic for one of the sports. Look, listen, we live in a global village and we must search far and wide for the best brains to deliver the results for us.
Okay, talking about
Having said that, I'm very proud. Having said that, I'm very proud that all the coaches are Africans. It goes without saying.
Okay, talking about not having a global village and not judging wherever you come from, one of the Super Eagles players in diaspora that have done well for us is Alex Iwobi. He has done fantastically well in this competition, architect of our midfield, and particularly I want to talk about his standout performance at the knockout stages. For group stages, if you make mistakes, you can say correct. He was outstanding in the group stages, but for the knockout stages, he's been able to set a new record of, he has been able to set a record for this competition, let me put it that way, because he's the one that has actually completed the highest line-breaking passes at the knockout stages. For the round of 16, he was able to complete 22 line-breaking passes. For the last game against Algeria, he was able to complete 14 line-breaking passes, making 36 in total for just 2 games at the knockout stages. So what, I'm asking this question because I remember the last AFCON, I remember the kind of criticism that actually threw the performances of Alex Iwobi. So looking at what he has done so far at this AFCON, what's your take on him?
On a lighter note, I think OGTV should give you the job of ex-statistician. Your statistics are so solid.
Thank you for that, sir.
I personally have said that the most improved star player across every country in the AFCON is Iwobi. His football has been titillating and tantalizing, and I believe strongly that he should be ranking amongst those who win players of the tournament. I believe that more than 4 Nigerian players will definitely be ranking among the best to win the player of the tournament. And because I'm so convinced that we're going to win the trophy, I pray Nigeria will be the player of the tournament. Apparently, even the last tournament was won by AFCON, but this time around is a tough one between Alexiobi, Osimhen, Lookman, and possibly AFCON for the kind of play played. You know, you just need to wait and see.
Okay. Beyond talking about AFCON, you have also been somewhere. You remember the last time we had a conversation on this platform, you were really talking about how we are underutilizing the power of sport in Nigeria, what sport can do beyond entertainment, beyond the economy, ability to unite the people and bring people together. So I don't know if there are specifics that we can be hoping to get from your administration to ensure that we are able to maximize the potentials of sport in Nigeria as we have it now. The economy, people, the youth, unemployment, different issues we have in the country right now.
Well, listen, we'll keep, again, you've asked a very smashing question. We'll keep campaigning and reaching out to stakeholders, governors, private sector, captains of industry, the media. We'll keep using opportunities like this to emphasize the importance of sport. Let me thank OGTV. We have discussed sport for almost 30 minutes. This is what every platform should do. Give sports the importance you give to discussion on politics, the economy, education, because sport is tied to every aspect of life. You spoke about the economy. Look at what Governor Abeokuta has successfully done with hosting so many competitions. If the data, and I hope you have that statistic to my brother, if the data is checked, if Governor Abeokuta has empowered more than 3,000 people using those sporting events and activities to create wealth for small-scale businesses, people who came in their thousands to sell their wares. And you see, when you look at the direct and indirect job created through sport, you will agree with me that we deserve to be a contributor to the GDP of this country, even if it is at a low 2%. 2% is huge in contributing to every construction job, every maintenance job, every facility that Governor Abeokuta paid for is a sport-induced job created by the NFC through the Ogun State government to the people. And when you look at every state, as we speak now, I know of Kaduna, Enugu, Delta, not 15 states, Lagos, building multiple sporting facilities. This in economy called indirect induced employment. And that must be created must be given to sport for that. But beyond that, every competition you host in your domain gets wealth. And I think governor, is my governor, giving the opportunity of both of some of the facilities today in Nigeria, which has attracted even para sports, as athletics, keep attracting different strata of sports to our state, therefore empowering the power of sports. It's through sport that healthcare is improved, roads are improved, education is garnered. And when you go back to sport in the schools, what he does is amazing. My daughter plays football and runs the streets. She's about to represent Nigeria in Qatar at the Tournament Games in Qatar with her school, the Great Primary School in Lagos. And let me tell you, I'm leaving everything I'm doing to go and support my daughter and her colleagues, so many primary school children that will be in Qatar. Because again, sport has opened up my daughter's brain. Our schoolwork has improved tremendously. And I know I speak the mind of many parents whose children are constructively and actively playing sports. You cannot take sports away from nation building, from family building, and from empowerment. It's a huge tool that we must continue to use our platform like OGTV to encourage.
Okay, so talking about that, I have a question, but on a lighter note, talking about your daughter, that's a case of like father, like daughter, because I didn't grow up with her daughter, but I let you also play football.
Absolutely.
I let you play football when you were in secondary school.
Yeah, the other was the ball ball.
That's our guy. He was born by me, but it's my guy anyway.
Yeah, I came back today.
Okay, let me take your question.
To go to the reserve bench when I start playing for PBHS.
Okay, let me quickly answer this question. And the question, as we begin to wrap up, we have about 2 or 3 minutes left on the program. And the question is that the Super Eagles at this AFCON, they played.
Before you ask the question, do you also realize that my certificate, my AKA, Ozogula, came as a result of me playing football and scoring with my head?
Yes, I do.
I'm trying to say my head was big after the time to Ozogula.
Yes, I do. And also sometimes it even comes to mind before
the
Anyway, the question is this. The question is this. The Super Eagles of Nigeria have played at this AFCON. They played in Fes, they played in Marrakesh, now they are going to Rabat to play the semi-finals against Morocco. So what should Nigeria expect in Rabat when we take on Morocco on Wednesday?
Keep giving them your support, keep giving them your prayers. I do not see how this team would not win the trophy with the kind of commitment and discipline that they've exhibited. I do not see anything stopping them from emerging as champions. Have you noticed that even when they are leading with multiple number of goals, they still pursue the ball? Another part of the ball, like they are playing 0-0 or they are losing. For me, that has not been seen since 1994. This is a new era for our football at the Super Eagles level. And like I said earlier on, the Super Eagles is the biggest brand we own as a country across every brand. It is bigger than any brand that has operated in this country in oil and gas. It is bigger than the big names we've had in politics.
As we wrap up, I don't know, the Super Falcons got the attention of the federal government when they won. And of course, the Tigers also got the attention.
The Super Eagles is the biggest brand. The Super Falcons is the second biggest brand. Osima is the third biggest brand. And we cannot shy away from the fact that fingers are not equal.
So if my question is just to ask whether the federal government...
Let me answer the question. Let me answer the question.
All right.
My prayer is that we come here to support the Super Eagles, and by God's grace, you'll win the tournament.
All right, and if we win the tournament,
$100,000
is it 100,000? Because the Super Eagles, like you said, they are the biggest brand in Nigeria. Are they getting $200,000 or maybe $500,000, like we have in the case of Super Falcons at the Tigers?
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Okay.
Zodico will be recommending something stupendous for them. But guess what one of the players asked me? Moses Simon said to me 2 days ago, he said, Oga, guess what would be most significant for us? Giving us diplomatic passports.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Can you beat that? That's all. They're not asking for too much. giving us diplomatic passports.
They have the money.
People who have not served this country, like people who have not served the country, like these guys have served the country, are going about with diplomatic passports. Moses Simon said to me, sir, promise me that when we win this trophy, you will recommend to the president to give us diplomatic passport. And I will be recommending that.
We have to go.
Okay, we have to go. We've been chatting with the DG of the National Sports Commission on New Dawn. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Thank you so much for coming on our program.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Come on.